Not at all. I mean, the problem, as I see it, is the fact there's so much division within the Conservative Party themselves until they can figure out what they want in terms of Brexit. And there you heard Mr Johnson saying half in, half out. Well, it was half in, half out when the referendum took place back in 2016. The uncertainty within the Conservative Party, more broadly within the political spectrum in Europe, let alone debating with the EU, from an investor's perspective, uncertainty just means you're going to sit on your hands and play it from the short side.
So you're playing it from this. But at the end of the day, though, when you look at whether it's the Republicans, the Democrats in the United States, or what's happening right now in the UK, or even what's happening in Italy, these kinds of moves by politicians never give the markets much ease, as I was saying. And one wonders what these politicians are actually thinking, because in the end, it ends up hurting them more. Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, the politicians are only in this for themselves. And whatever Mr Johnson might say in terms of his rhetoric for, following the Brexit, you have to assume that at some point in time he's got aspirations for a higher seat, should we say? And in the short term, that's just going to, well, it is weighing on cable, and we're so susceptible to headline risk at the moment that anything that Boris says, anything that Theresa May says, or the other members of the ruling elite, should we say, tend to opine on, can drive markets quite significantly at the moment.
Simon, speaking of that headline risk, we can't ignore what's going on in Italy as well. And I have to think whether it's Brexit, what Italy means for broader European troubles. Ultimately here, are we talking about dollar strength continuing to be the real story? If you listen to what Fed Chair Jay Powell had to say about the remarkable strength of the U.S. economy, this divergence is really going to keep playing out in markets, don't you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. And I think one of the stories that we've been following sort of in recent months is that dollar strength, that dollar appreciation story, which I see continuing well through the end of this year and into 2019. The Fed last week with their increase and leaving the door open for December rate move as well. Moving higher in terms of the dot plot, but out to 2021, then perhaps slowing a little bit after that. For me, is a dollar appreciation certainly versus sterling, but at the margin versus the euro as well. And there's so much political sort of uncertainty as well within the Eurozone in general. And there I'm talking between the core and the periphery, Italy, Spain, Greece, etc. That that is going to weigh on the euro. So yes, it's dollar appreciation story all the way still for me.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.